Maybe he was like, yo, we don't need to eat out tonight. Maybe he didn't have the money you had. So he didn't want to go eat out because that caused him to spend money he didn't have that you might have had at the time. All right, this video is by P.A. Clark. It is called I'm 25 and I Hate My Life. And I wanted to react to this because I feel like the 25-year-old age is a very pivotal time for a lot of people where they can feel like their life is starting to go downhill. And I feel like talking about those things and hearing other people's experiences is good to maybe help guide you on how you deal with that fork in the road in your life. So let's get into this.
Hi, you don't know me, and I certainly don't know you, but I have a few things I need to get off my chest and a few things I want to talk about. So I think I'm just going to do it here. And then maybe in like a year, 2 years time, I can look back and be like, whoa, she was really going through shit. I had a horrible flight yesterday, and it really made me think of where I don't want to be in my life, and that's exactly where I am right now. I turn 25 tomorrow. Like, literally tomorrow.
Wow, happy birthday.
I hate my life. I hate where I've gone with my life, and I hate that I grew up too quickly. So for starters, when I was 18, I got 2 jobs. Sometimes I had 3. I was making money, a lot of money, and the feeling was addicting because I didn't really grow up with money. So the fact I had my own money made me want to spend it because I was afraid of just losing it all. And then when I hit rock bottom, I wasn't able to pick up the pieces a few years ago. And, you know, therapy and all this other stuff is great, and yeah, and it's that, but I feel like since I turned 20, I've sort of just been on a downhill decline. Like, I'll have, you know, like one of those graphs where it just goes like it goes up and down, but the directory is still going downwards. That's kind of how I am as a person. And I don't want to be that person anymore, but Lord, is it so hard. I was in a relationship for 8.5 years, and we broke up back in May because, to be honest, I don't even know if I have a straight answer for myself. I wanted more. I wanted to be taken out on dates. I wanted to be complimented. I wanted the bare minimum. And after that,
I think, like, I don't know what her family life was growing up, but I do know she once said that she was like, she felt like she grew up without money. She started making a lot of money and she wanted to spend it because she felt like she was going to lose it. And I feel like people don't know how peaceful it is to have things just in case, right? The peace that if everything goes wrong right now, I have a just in case that's going to take care of it, right? And I feel like people don't treat their money like that. Just in case something happens, I got this amount of money. Sometimes when you're in a two income relationship, hey, one person might pay for everything, but that person, just in case anything goes wrong, they'll pick it up, right? And that is such a freeing feeling to have. But I think once you get into that mode of like, I need this, I need that, I need that, one, I think it's a lot of comparison. 2, the happiest relationships for most people were relationships when they were in high school and college, because those relationships didn't really come with any expectation. But there's like NF has this verse. He said, the thing about goals is every time you reach one, you just gonna set another goal that doesn't lead to freedom, right? So when your goal was to hang out with this boy and y'all was going to, you know, Dave and Buster's, McDonald's, Ruby Tuesdays, those were dates. But then it became like, yo, I need more. Those aren't dates to me anymore. You was my boyfriend. Now we moved in together. I need a little bit more. I need this. I need that. I feel like that really destroys a lot of things, like that mindset.
long, even if I'm not expecting to get married or anything like anytime soon. I was not in no
Okay.
position to get married, but I kind of wanted to know if he was going to propose or if he was interested in marriage. And his answer to that was either avoiding it or that he wasn't sure if he loved me or not, or he could possibly end up loving someone else more. So that was a bit of a kicker. I feel as if my frontal lobe is like developing. You know what they say about frontal lobes? I feel like my frontal lobe has developed the past year because I started to notice some of the red flags and some of the stuff I did not sort of like in the relationship. So I think before the breakup happened, I think I was anticipating the possibility of it happening, but I was the only one really wanting to try. And sorry if you hear the rain, it's fully raining outside. I was the only one willing to try, and he was willing to give it up pretty quickly. And I think that says a lot about how he valued me in the relationship.
I don't know their relationship, but what I can tell you from a man's perspective of how men interact with the world, a lot of times the reason why a man is so willing to give it up is because he feel like the burden of your happiness is on him, right? So it's my responsibility to make you happy. I can't, what Drake say, I can't convince you that I love you for a living. I can't do that. Like, I don't want to do that. So in her mind, yo, something from the outside of me should be making me happy. And he's like, yo, if you're willing to take that burden away from me and walk away and go find it yourself, that might be a more peaceful life for me. That's all I can say from his perspective.
And what hurts the most is that I still think about him. And I still don't think I've fully fallen out of love with him, even though it's been a few months. You don't just move on from someone that quickly after so many years together. Like, this is the first time in my adult years that I'm single. And I'm turning 25. And it's very weird to navigate because you think you were gonna marry that person. But now when I look through everything and all the Facebook memories and everything that just comes up, it just shows me and reminds me that as much as I hate him for breaking up and not wanting to try, he did the right thing because he clearly didn't give a shit about me.
You think somebody stays with somebody for 8 years and doesn't care about them at all? That is just not the truth. Is it?
I was the one constantly telling people about how great he was, posting about him, you know, showing my love and affection, and I would be lucky if he didn't want to split half on a takeaway. Lord, you are testing me. But I will say the past month, apart from like men, I've really been finding myself as a person. And I wouldn't say I put my life on hold for a man. I wouldn't say that. But I definitely stopped myself from doing things I wanted to do since I was younger because I was okay with sacrificing it for him, because I was under the impression that he would do the same for me when the time came round to it. And obviously that never came. He never asked that of me. He never expected that of me.
That is self-awareness 101 right there. Okay. The fact that she could admit she never asked, because a lot of times we project what we want a response to be on somebody to the actions that we take. I'm doing this action because I want this response out of you. Not because you asked me to do it, but then you also cannot put the responsibility of that outcome on the person as well. Because they didn't ask you to do it. If it was something that was concerning to them, they would have asked, I would imagine.
But I always thought, it's kind of a weird thing to say. I don't know
especially when it comes to sacrificing yourself. Now, there's certain things that people do that they just think is the right thing to do. Holding doors, just the right thing to do. You know, saying thank you, saying you appreciate it. Those are just things that you do, regardless of how the person reacts. That's just who you want to be. But when it comes to sacrificing yourself, like if they didn't ask you to do that, you can't blame them if they don't have the response that you may have wanted them to have.
I word it, but I hope you guys just understand where I'm coming from. My biggest regret was not going to university. I regret not having that experience. I know people are like, oh, it's not as great. No, like I genuinely regret not valuing my education. I flunked my GCSEs, I flunked sixth form, I flunked college, and I have nothing to show for it.
But he didn't do that though. So she went from okay.
Apart from
let me keep
a failed
listening.
apprenticeship, which I'll get into in a bit. So I'm very happy to say I got back last night, and after that horrible time in the airport, which I'll get to in a second, it was like 9:30 p.m. and Yodel, I don't know what you're doing in my ends at that time of night, posted a parcel, and it was my access module, booklets, and reading materials with the Open University, because I'm going to do an access module and then hopefully next year do a part-time degree.
She didn't really, so she went from I sacrificed things for him, but you flunked. You dropped out. I don't think he asked you to do that. And maybe that's part of the reason why he didn't want to invest that much, because you're willing to give up the things that make you valuable to spend time with the person. I tell my fiance all the time, I'm like, yo, listen, if that's going to make you better, don't not do it because of me. Like, you need to do, because it's going to make you better. I don't mind if you have to go to New York for a week to do something that's going to push you further. I'm going to miss you, but like, I know this what has to happen for you to be the best version of you, so we can be the best version of us. Go ahead and do that. I would never, people who be like, call out of work because I miss you today. Yo, get them out of here.
Over the next 6 years, because I want an education, but I also don't want to sacrifice the brand I want to build up and what I love to do. And I know I've got one thing going right in that way right now. So that's good. I have no money. Like I said, I came into a lot of money when I was young, and because I didn't grow up with money, and nothing, I don't want to say anything negative about my parents, but I don't think I was ever taught properly how to save money or what to do with money, how to invest money. And, you know, I could go on and say, yeah, but like you could have just learned that yourself. But I think when you're like 17, 18 and you come into that much money, you just think it's just going to keep rolling in. And eventually when it didn't, I didn't really know what to do. And because I was overspending what I had, somehow when I was 22, I ended up with £10,000 of debt and all my savings gone. It was around 13k, the debt. So came down to 10k once I got rid of my savings. So we are around 2.5 years later, and I'm proud of the progress I've made. I'm down to...
I wonder if her boyfriend ever told her to stop spending. Like, you don't need to buy that. We don't need to buy that. Because it's hard to tell somebody when they're up that they need to stop, because they feel like, oh, you're trying to take away my happiness right now. This is making me happy. So I would be interested to know if he was ever like, we don't need to do that. We don't need to, because remember how she was like, it's hard for me to even get him to not go half on takeout. Maybe he was like, yo, we don't need to eat out tonight. Maybe he didn't have the money you had, so he didn't want to go eat out because that caused him to spend money he didn't have that you might have had at the time. These be the crux of some people's, disagreements.
If I'm being honest, I'm only down to like 4k, which is really good.
That's good.
but it's more like 5.5 because of my braces. But it's not that braces do count as debt, but it was a necessary debt to have. Like I needed to have them done to the point where I wouldn't leave the house or I wouldn't look at myself in the mirror because all I could see was teeth, you know? And when your best friend's a dentist, Lord. No, Angel, I love you. Mwah. She's one of the many lights in my life that I am eternally grateful for. Literally an angel. So yeah, so that has sort of just been weighing me down. And I feel like I wasted the prime years of my life trying to chase this ideal corporate lifestyle in central London where I worked in IT, but it was so stressful. And then the pandemic happened, and that's when my depression all rose to the surface and my anxiety was concerning not just for me but for my entire family. I wouldn't go outside. I thought I was going to die. I still think I'm going to die. Yeah, it's just really sad, you know, because I've got so many things that I'm looking forward to, but you know, when you're depressed and stuff, you just want to die all the time. And
Yo, listen, I'm about to give you a great sense of advice. Okay, $9.99 a month. Apple Fitness. Okay, Apple Fitness Plus. Just do one 20-minute workout 4 times a week. Just start with that. It could be dancing, kickboxing, hit training. I think once you're up and moving and your body's moving, one, you feel more alive, right? Like, cause you feel like there's nothing you can't do. I could jump off this porch right now. My knee's good. And I think once you feel like walking up the stairs is hard. If walking up the stairs is hard, doing this test gonna be hard. I think it removes a little bit of barrier to, you know, them type of things.
you know, people are like, oh my God, I just want to kill myself and stuff like that. But no, like, I get these thoughts of just leaving, just letting it all go. And I'm in therapy and stuff, but
That's good.
NHS waiting lists are hard. I'm very grateful for the support from my family, but at the same time, because they're so supportive, I can't help but think I'm just the disappointment. And now I'm constantly letting them down. Because I do want to change my life, but I want to do what I want to do.
It's crazy that she says this, like, yo, my family's so supportive. I feel like I'm letting them down. But she was so supportive of her boyfriend. Maybe he felt like he was letting you down. That's why he was so the way he was. That's why they say, like, some of the trauma you have can spill over onto other people unbeknownst to you.
People always say chase your dreams, and now that I'm trying to do that, to try and get myself in a better headspace, a better money space, a better everything space, I feel like I'm just coming to obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and there's no end. There's no end. I've been working on my, I don't really know how to say it, like artist brand. I think artist, I don't like using the word creative for this, but I don't think artist suits me either. I guess studio, I don't know, where I want to go sell at conventions and markets of all the stuff I make. I want to make cool keycaps for keyboards and phone cases and press on nails and all that sort of stuff. And also, I'm going to college to learn how to do like nails professionally.
Oh, that's good.
As well in November. So like, it's not like I'm not doing anything. I'm getting my education back, and that was one of the biggest regrets of my life. And now that that's underway, it's, yes, that's one thing ticked off, but now there's so many other boxes I need to check, and it's so overwhelming. I know people say take it one step at a time, but I'm literally going to be taking this one step at a time. My room is a state. My desk downstairs is a state, and oh, God forbid.
What does that mean? Like
Oh
messy?
my God. I love my mum and my stepdad so much for there is no issue with me staying for as long as I need. I know a lot of other people in my position wouldn't have supportive families or parents, so I really cannot be taking this for granted, but it's just been so difficult. But now I'm fully gonna lock in. And another thing I need to lock in with is the gym. Oh, God. I also think that was another reason why he broke up with me. I've always been a curvier girl, but after some stuff that happened, which I won't go into, I gained a bit of weight last year. And then a few months, not even a few months, I wanted to say like 6 months prior to us breaking up, he would constantly ask about my diet. And I thought he was just checking in on me. But now looking back, I was so blinded by love. I think he was like, I can't see you visually losing weight, so are you even losing weight type of deal.
I think it's kind of like one of them things. If you had like a quick blow, are you? It's kind of just checking where you're at. Are we like going in the right direction, or are we still going in the direction that we wouldn't want to go into? But it seems, but to take it like that is like, you never want your partner to feel like they can't voice an opinion without you saying they're doing something wrong, right? I just want to like, how would you want him to have said it to show that he's concerned, but not make you feel like the way that you felt?
I was, slowly, as people should. You shouldn't just completely stop eating and dramatically lose like a stone within a week. I don't think that's healthy physically or mentally for people. But I was losing weight, and I just don't think he really found me attractive anymore. And that's okay. I thought he would have held out for a bit longer. I could be really mean and say some things, but that's very petty of me. I won't do that. But obviously, after the breakup, I gained all that weight back, plus more. And it's only been the past 2 weeks where I've even dropped a few pounds. So I'm going to be taking up my Pilates again and going to the gym. And like, I do enjoy going. It's just that sometimes I get there and I'm just so bored and I just don't know what to do.
Like I said, Apple Fitness Plus, get you a nice Apple Watch. You know what I'm saying? Close those rings. You feel me? Keep track of your tight beat. That's all you got to do. I think a lot of people, they want to go from 0 to 100 and everything. That's why all these boxes that she feel like she want to check are like overwhelming. If you look at it like you look at school, you didn't go from not knowing math to be able to do the quadratic equation in 3 months. First, you learn numbers. You learn what the numbers were. 1, 2. Then you learned addition and subtraction. Then you learn multiplication and division. Then you learn PEMDAS. Then you learned equations. Then you learn functions of X. Then you learn, like, it was years of you learning this process. That checked one box, right? I know math. Language arts, you learn letters. You learn sight words, you learn letter sounds, you learn how to read, you learn how to comprehend, you learn, right? We're working out. I think it's one of those things that are kind of hidden in your life because there's no real building block to working out when you're young. But if you got recess at school, you don't know how well recess does for you just to be active 20 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day of unstopped action for kids, right? Then you got the kids who play sports. Then you got the kids who start the weight train. Then you got the gym rats, right? Which is you don't have to go all the way there. But I think like a 20-minute, 30-minute workout 4 or 5 times a week just to get you your functional strength back, I think you will feel a lot better. And it will take away that going to the gym and, I don't know what to do. They'll figure it out for you. They compacted the time for you. They keep the timer for you. They tell you which weights to use. They tell you how to move, and you're done.
But we're going to fix that. We're going to lock in and we're going to fix it. I'm always going to be a bigger girl. I'm always going to be a more curvy girl. And you know what? That's okay. I just want to be a healthy girl. And I feel like I've already shed like half the weight because he's no longer in my life. Sorry, bub. And also, you know what? I know I'm currently just ranting about my ex, but I just think, I don't know if he's even going to watch this, but I think it's just the plain audacity. And sometimes I do think about this, and sometimes I don't think about him at all. But now that I'm talking about it, just the plain audacity for him to wonder if I hated him because I wanted to go no contact. Because we spoke once a week for 2 weeks after we broke up, just to check on each other. And the plain audacity for him to be like, oh, do you hate me now? Like, because I wasn't replying with X's or saying words of affection. Like, I was being as cordial and polite as I could be considering the circumstances. And I'm like, no, you broke my heart. So, like, what the fuck do you expect me to write?
I think she got to get into, like, what he did to break her heart. Because, like, I think there was an image of him in her mind, and he didn't fit that. So they broke up. And now, because you never became that thing in my mind, unless he really did something. If he really did something, then that's going to be. But even by the talking, she said earlier in the video how she compromised things for him, but she was failing out of school and stuff. She was excessively spending money, but when they went out to eat, he wouldn't pick up the tab. She had to ask him for half when she knew she was the one frivolously spending money. He didn't want to frivolously spend money. So those might have led to the issues that you perceived that he should have been doing, but he was willing to remain him and put his boundaries up.
Do you expect me to go like, hi, Bob, hope you have a good day, love you, miss you, and a billion emojis like I used to? No, I'm not going to fucking do that anymore. You don't deserve to get that anymore. Like, God. And then as we were finishing the conversation, because he didn't have social media, he went on to be like, oh, if I got on Instagram, would it be weird if I followed you? I'm like, oh, so now you're single. All of a sudden you want to get like Instagram and stuff. Like,
Of course.
Red flags from a mile away.
How's that a red flag though if he didn't have social media? He didn't want to be connected to nobody. He had his connection with you, his connection with his circle. I didn't need social media. Maybe social media fed into the requirements you were placing on him. I wonder if that might. You've seen other people going on dates and getting compliments, and hold up. And she was talking about how she was posting him on social media. If he didn't have a social media, where was he? Was he supposed to go out into the street and be like, "This is my beautiful girl. She's the." What was he supposed to do to be comparable to you posting about him on social media?
Part of me also wants to have a bit of a Trisha Paytas moment and cry on my kitchen floor, but I don't know. I'll put that in there if I end up doing it. But I think it's, people will look at from the outside and be like, how can you hate your life? You got so many things you're doing, so many things to be grateful for. And I am. I really, really am. But I'm also wanting to jump in front of traffic every time I go outside, and I don't want to have to feel like that. And the only thing that's really pushing me to stick around is the people who love me, wanting to get my education. And I have books that I want to write, and I want to write all those books so badly. And I will. You guys won't see me drop dead until I will. I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling. I don't know if that makes any sense. I have £5 in my bank account. I didn't even go on about the airport thing. I'm not going to lie. I'm so over the whole airport fiasco. I'm just not even going to say it. But TDLR, I didn't get paid. And all of a sudden everything went out because of the time difference. I just don't know really. I actually genuinely don't know what happened, but I got on the other side and my mum was in A&E, so I knew I would have to take the 2.5 hour bus home, and I was not in the mood for it, but oh well, It had to be done. And then when I went to go buy a fucking sandwich meal deal, my card declined. Embarrassing. So I'm having to look at everything. My phone's about to die and everything like that, and I'm freaking out.
I think people like your car declining. Like I've been at one of them ATMs. I was at pulling in a parking deck one time, and I put the wrong card in because like my bank had just sent me a new card, so I didn't like dispose of my old card yet, and I put in my old card that was expired, and it said your card has declined mad loud. It was so funny to me, but like, if I guess it's one of them things like I know I had the money, so maybe that's why it didn't affect me in that way. But even if I didn't have the money, I just don't have the money. I know my life. I know I'm doing my best. So like, if somebody else looks down on me for doing my best, like I don't really care what they have to say. But some people, her card declining, you think the cash register person might have, oh, this girl broke. Most people don't think that though. They just think, oh, something happened with her card. And they go about their day. They probably don't even think about you an hour from then. So you can't internalize what you believe they might be thinking.
So shout out to that lovely couple who live in Southend who bought my bus ticket. Like I ended up getting some funds to get the bus ticket, but they could tell I was crashing out at the bus stop, and they bought my bus ticket, which was so lovely of them. And it really puts my faith. I know people say, oh, but it restores my faith in humanity, but no, it really does. And I will pay that forward. If they ever find this, I just want them to know that I will pay it forward. Fucking hell, it is raining outside. Oh, that is corn
I want to see what the comments say.
Right there. Yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow. With that £5, I know as someone in debt, I shouldn't be using Zilch or Klarna and stuff like that. But I was so over everything. I needed one good thing. So I've got a birthday cake coming tomorrow. It's from It's from Get Baked. You know that bakery in Manchester that does like the Matilda like slab cakes, the chocolate fudge Matilda slab cakes. Always wanted to try it, so I got their birthday cake. That's coming tomorrow, hopefully. If it doesn't, I'll crash out. That's another reason for me to keep going, because I've got cake coming tomorrow, and then after the cake we'll lock in. I promise we will lock in after the cake. I think right now I want to tidy my bedroom. Also, we're hoarders, so I need to get rid of a bunch of stuff.
I think that's one thing too. People who it's hard to let go of stuff. Like I feel like there's a certain amount of items, like certain items you can keep. Like I got like my baseball workout clothes from like high school still. I got like, but they're functional things for me because like those are like dry fit. I can wear them to the gym. But also I got like the duffel bag that my school had for us to like pack our change of clothes in for basketball. I kept that, but I use that on like when I go on trips and stuff now. So, but other than that, I used to like tear my room down and then re-put it back up and just get rid of stuff that I didn't need or wasn't using. So that also frees your mind, because it's really just most things are just the memory. You're keeping it so you can keep the memory, but the memory is still up there. So you can give away the thing, in my opinion. Some stuff you can keep. You don't have to keep everything though.
Bunch of stuff already. Like, I know I've got a lot of stuff on my shelf, but you need to understand I've been collecting all these anime figurines and shit since I was like 13. So I already got rid of half of my collection, and that is enough for me. Boundaries, people. Boundaries. What else? I don't even know what else to talk about. I'm going to be so for real. But yeah, that's that. Do you guys hate your life? what are you guys concerned about in your lives right now? Is there anything you wish you did differently in your early 20s? But then again, I hear people say that early 20s is where you experiment and fuck up with life, and then your late 20s is you fixing what you didn't do in your early 20s.
And then your early 30s is you doing your early 20s over again with way better critical thinking skills. Bro, life is, as long as you take lessons out of your life, life should progressively get better, right? But where the deterioration comes from is your health. That's the thing that can slip away from people because they're so focused on everything else. If you take care of your health, eat good, stay exercising. My grandparents, they walk up and down the stairs every day, right? My grandfather, he does like 15 miles on a bike every day, right? And you don't want to overwork yourself, obviously, but as long as you're taking the lessons through life, you're going to be fine.
So the fact that I'm turning 25 tomorrow and it's like the later stage officially of my late 20s and like that, crazy. I'm also scared I'm never going to find someone who loves me. But
do you, I think people who worry about that, this is just my perspective, right? People who worry about that, I'm not going to say you don't love yourself, but I think you question if you love yourself. Because like if your boyfriend pushed you in traffic, your ex-boyfriend, if he pushed you in traffic, would you think he loved you? No. If he told you he's thought about pushing you in traffic before, would you say he loved you? No. But you've thought of pushing yourself in traffic though. So could you say that you love yourself? And I think once you love yourself, you stop worrying about if somebody else is going to love you. Because once you love yourself, you will put yourself in positions where people who feel the same way about you gravitate towards you, right? You wouldn't put yourself in a situation where you be around people who hate you because you know that's not good for you because you love yourself. I'm not going to do that to myself, right? But the worst that you're willing to do to yourself is the worst that the world is going to do to you. Not inherently, but those are the spaces you're going to find yourself in my opinion. Could be wrong, but y'all let me know.
I think over the next few years, I just need to learn to love myself better and just...
She's spitting. Yo, she's on the right track. She's definitely on the right track though.
come to accept the fact that if no one ends up loving me or I don't end up marrying someone, that's also okay. I can marry myself. I think you can do that in Japan though. Wait, I'm going to pull up the receipts. Can I do that in Japan? I think I can. I will probably just, get a bunch of cats, maybe adopt, do something like that. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, one step at a time. And the first step is cleaning my bedroom. And then cleaning my art desk downstairs, but I might leave that tomorrow. Wait, it's my birthday tomorrow. No, you still gotta clean on your birthday. Fuck. You know what? I was about to say I'm sorry for just posting this on the internet, but you know what? I'm not sorry. Because if there's someone else in my situation who feels like this and they're my age or they're going through something similar, I just want you to know that you're not alone. Yeah, I'll cry about it, I'll complain about it, but I'm gonna fix it. And you can fix it too, and we can fix it together. We can go on this journey together. Also, yeah, the peel me thing, that was like a whole thing I tried to film like 3 months ago. Like a week after the breakup. I dressed up as like... Oh, excuse me. I dressed up as Pitbull and tried to do this whole Pitbull segment about how you're so sexy and Mr. Worldwide and you should pay off your debts and these are the rewards you get. But I don't even think I need to see what the rewards are if I do get to these certain debt levels. Because I just need to be grateful for what I have. So I'm gonna stop it there. I'm gonna end every video / vlog with a debt amount. Let's be open with each other, people. Like, Because if we don't talk about debt and the effects of debt on people,
True.
we cannot prevent debt happening to others.
I think it's crazy that she says she's in 13K of debt and her world's crippling. Listen, come to America. People buy cars at 17 years old. They are in $20,000 debt already. GG's. Student loan debt, 40K. Cooked. All right. They get out, open up a credit card, 6 more K of debt. You're done. All right. Klarna, GG's. Another $800. They're done. All right.
Don't shy away from it. Confront it. Yeah. So here's the debt amount. I'll add some sparkle effects to make it more cunty, I guess. There's the debt amount. And
I think a good thing for her to say is she wants to sell press-on nails. If she could sell press-on nails at a $10 profit margin, right? I think that's pretty doable. Even we'll say $8. We'll say $6. $6 profit margin, right? It should take her 1,050 orders, right? I think for that. Anyway, it'll take her roughly around 1,000 orders to do. She has 81,000 views on this. She got 2.8 subscribers. 2.8 thousand subscribers. So with that being said, I feel like she could start her nail thing and then get that profit paid off by doing what she loved to do. Or she could do commission art. She do $100 commissions. That's 63 commissions. You in there. All right. So a lot of times people try paying off their debt with work. Sometimes you don't got to do that. You can pay off debt with your passion. You just got to figure out how to make your passion profitable. Do it to earn your way out of debt. You know what I'm saying? But listen, y'all like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Look, if you are 25, your life is not over. If you are breathing, your life is not over. And I feel like this thing happens when you're 25 where you feel like you start to free fall until you catch yourself, right? And that could be like the space that she's entering. And some people don't fall enough to even know they're free falling. They pretty much done everything right so far. So that little drop off of your brain development stops, but the reality doesn't really change. All right. But I think mentally, a lot of people, they come to grips like, wow, is this what life's about to be? Especially like you're a couple years out of high school, a couple years out of college, maybe. And life starts to set in like, where is the growth after this? Right. But those early development years are the building blocks for you to build on top of. You were just building the foundation your first 25 years of life. Now you get to start on the development that is above the foundation. But listen, come on, look, I'll be spitting sometimes. I try not to be harsh in these videos because people are obviously, they are open enough and vulnerable enough to say that their experiences. So I don't really want it to come across like I'm like dogging somebody maybe, but sometimes I do add in a perspective, especially with a boyfriend. I think there's some perspective there that may let her come to peace with the situation. Cause it seems like the situation obviously still affects her. Even the fact that her saying, I could say some mean things, that means the situation still affects her. But there's a way to revisit those things to say, well, that's who they were. This is who I was. This is how I thought about it. This could have contributed. This is how they probably felt. That's how that could have contributed. And that's just, it is what it is. I'm not hurt by it. But it's a lesson that I was able to gather and move forward to hopefully a better relationship with a person. If you adopt, or a better relationship with your kittens, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. But y'all like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Until next time I see y'all. Peace.
So when the metal hit his mug, he just sunk in place. 100K holla, chillin' Bahamas. Come home to your crib and throw in your mama.